In this video, we'll learn: how did branding begin? The evolution of brand design, foundations, a look into its origins, trends, and future insights.
Part 2.
Hello, welcome to The Transcendent. We can scarcely imagine a world without a dizzying array of choices for everything from soap to soda. Before the 20th century, however, consumer choice was minimal. The local general store typically offered just one brand of essentials like flour or coffee. The dawn of the new century heralded a massive shift. The powerful duo of mass production and sprawling transportation networks unleashed an unprecedented flood of options for consumers. For manufacturers, this new era of choice meant fierce competition. To succeed, a product still needed quality, value, and a solid reputation. However, at this moment, consideration of any such factors was not mere passing interest. It absolutely had to secure a triumphant victory in the fierce competition for the attention of a crowded shelf or even within the dynamic realm of an enticing advertisement. Let's analyze a classic case study, Morton Salt. In 1911, faced with its first national ad campaign, the company had a problem. Now, salt isn't that exciting as a visual, so how do you make a visually uninspiring commodity like salt memorable? They introduced the Morton Salt Girl, a character designed to brilliantly demonstrate a key product benefit: that it wouldn't clump in humid weather. The famous slogan, "When it rains, it pours," was born. This incredibly powerful combination of a straightforward visual element and a straightforward message created an enormous amount of brand value. And the Morton's brand remains a market leader standing strong today. Consider another icon of the era, Michelin. Tires, much like salt, were purely functional items. So, in 1898, Michelin introduced Bibendum, the friendly figure made from a stack of tires. This approachable mascot instantly conveyed durability and reliability, transforming a faceless industrial product into a trusted companion for the road. Both campaigns impeccably expertly utilized branding to infuse a rich, soulful essence into their respective commodities, successfully demonstrating that an enthralling, captivating story holds equal value and significance as the product itself. As the marketplace grew increasingly crowded, companies realized that consistent messaging and brand management were no longer optional, but essential for survival. A popular strategy was to hammer home a unique selling proposition (USP), the one thing that made them the first, the only, or the best choice available. Many adopted a literal approach, pairing a clear illustration with a direct slogan. A perfect example is RCA, whose brand became inseparable from the image of Nipper the Terrier. Faithfully listening, attentive to his master's voice as it plays harmoniously upon a gramophone, promising spectacular audio excellence that leaves a lasting impression. Although a few companies began to develop their deeper understanding and mastery of the art of crafting a distinctive and robust brand presence, they significantly enhanced their overall competitive advantage in the industry. In the era before refrigerators, when soft drinks were fished out of communal ice coolers, Coca-Cola had a breakthrough insight. A unique, carefully contoured bottle would be easily recognizable by merely touching it, instantly providing a clear distinction from a sea of competitors that attempt to resemble it. By the 1940s, this strategy had evolved further. Coca-Cola was no longer just selling a beverage. It was marketing an idealized piece of the American way of life. Kodak pioneered the democratization of photography, giving ordinary people the tools to capture and print their own memories. For years, the Kodak name alone guaranteed market dominance. As competitors emerged, Kodak resisted the urge to add complexity. Instead, they doubled down on their core brand promise: radical simplicity. Their entire marketing message revolved around this idea of effortless memory making. The camera was so intuitive, it was marketed as being simple enough for a child to use, a brilliant demonstration of user-friendly or centric design before the term even existed. A pivotal shift was occurring. The most successful brands truly understood that the future was not solely focused on delivering exceptional product features, but rather, they strived to establish a profound emotional connection with their audience or customers. Advertising initially began to promote aspirations instead of merely selling items. Rather than listing benefits, they promised a better life filled with romance, adventure, or elevated status. The strategy was to bypass logic and forge a direct connection with the core aspects of human motivation. This often meant tapping into deep-seated insecurities, the fear of not being attractive, smelling good enough, or popular, as well as undermining others' perceived attractiveness and success, and positioning their product as the ultimate and definitive solution. Your breath will no longer ruin your life. Brands have frequently guaranteed a speedy resolution. Your social life would no longer be jeopardized by bad breath. By the late 1950s, the fundamental pillars of contemporary brand management have been notably and firmly established. Brand awareness, visual consistency, clear messaging, and cultivating audience loyalty. Nevertheless, the market battlefield was primarily confined to the store shelf. Print advertisements, radio waves, and relatively little reliance was placed on word-of-mouth promotions. But the arrival of television and smartphones into every single household and living room, subsequently followed by the emergence of the internet, was about to ignite a brand new marketing supernova, revolutionizing the principles of interaction for all time. In 1950, following the mid-century, television emerged as the prominent medium for disseminating advertising messages effectively. This significant shift compelled businesses to pivot from audio-centric radio ads and move toward a more visually engaging format. Consequently, images assumed the most powerful and influential role in messaging. With the arrival of the internet and now mobile communication, imagery has become the foremost method through which we express ourselves culturally. Corporations promptly grasped the vital importance of a cohesive visual identity. A distinct brand message was absolutely essential for standing out against rival firms. That core message had to be completely uniform across every single point of audience engagement. With the advent of exponential growth in advertising and the massive dissemination of marketing collateral through various channels, it's become crucial for businesses to deliver tailor-made messages effectively. The necessity of maintaining a steadfast core message became absolutely critical. Campaigns can continually evolve and adapt to successfully maintain engagement with audiences. But the brand's fundamental identity, its very brand DNA, had to remain unwavering and consistent. For a masterclass in brand strategy, we can look at Volkswagen's 1960s campaign. Their core message strategically positioned them as the intelligent choice for independent, creative thinkers, not individuals chasing fleeting status. While the layout, copy, and imagery transformed in each advertisement, the central brand narrative stayed strikingly consistent throughout. This is Brand Strategy 101. A strong core message is your anchor. An unsteady, wobbly narrative is like a blurry, pixelated vector file. It significantly undermines the final product's quality. Volkswagen's promise was always clear. Being different is the smarter choice. Avis Rent-A-Car's We Try Harder campaign is another classic from that era. By openly admitting they were number two, they instantly built trust with their audience. This bold transparency didn't just turn a perceived weakness into their biggest strength, it also showed a level of honesty and confidence that their competitors lacked, making their brand more relatable and trustworthy. Their narrative was simple: because we're not the biggest, our service has to be the best. This kind of consistency is crucial for any brand. If your brand's color palette keeps changing randomly, it's like using the wrong CMYK values for printing, a total disaster that nobody trusts. In 1971, Coca-Cola launched a commercial that changed brand storytelling forever. On an Italian hilltop, a diverse group of young people united, singing songs of harmony and global unity, their voices echoing hope across borders. For the first time, a global brand's core message went beyond product promotion, embracing a powerful human idea that resonated worldwide. This was a masterclass in emotional storyboarding. A brand message with low opacity is like a faint whisper in the midst of a roaring rock concert. It gets completely drowned out and lost in the noise. Coca-Cola's message, however, was at 100%. The 1980s saw branding break free from the rigid, formal corporate style of the past. MTV led this revolution. They enthusiastically adopted a dynamic, ever-evolving logo that shifted in style and design, celebrated a broad and inclusive representation of diverse cultures and backgrounds, and embodied a bold, rebellious, and playfully irreverent attitude that challenged conventional norms. Their brand wasn't built on a strict grid. It was designed to be fluid, dynamic, and unpredictable. For old-school brands, this was like using 10 different fonts on one poster. Pure chaos. But for MTV, this chaos was their identity. Their only rule was to break the rules. In the 1990s, as the internet exploded into mainstream culture, brands rushed to establish an online presence, but many of their early websites turned out to be digital disasters. Poor design, slow loading times, and a lack of user-friendly features made them more frustrating than functional. This was a new frontier, and the rules of digital design were unwritten. Many brands made a classic mistake. They treated their website like just another digital billboard, mindlessly pasting their print ads onto a screen without adapting them for the medium. The result was often a low-res, pixelated mess, completely ignoring the principles of good UX. Worse, some brands stubbornly clung to outdated visuals, completely failing to reflect or even acknowledge the rapidly growing demand for diversity and inclusion in their brand assets. The rapid rise of the internet and social media has transformed communication by opening up innovative, far-reaching channels for global engagement, but it has also introduced intricate new challenges for effective branding and identity management. How does a brand effectively maintain its distinct identity when its logo is significantly shrunk to a tiny favicon, measuring just a few pixels wide? How do we ensure visual consistency across vastly different mediums, such as a glossy, high-quality printed brochure and a dynamic, responsive website? It's a formidable challenge requiring careful design alignment. Getting your colors right for both print, CMYK, and screen RGB can feel like trying to please two clients who want opposite things. In today's multi-channel world, a brand's unified message, its values and voice, must be rock solid, whether it's in the typography on a bus shelter ad or the character count of a social media post. Branding in the modern era is exponentially more intricate and multifaceted than it was in 1950, driven by evolving technology and consumer expectations. The platforms for communication are continuously evolving, diversifying, and multiplying rapidly, yet at its core, the essence of the job remains consistent and unchanged. You still need to craft a strong, clear, unique, and compelling message, your brand's DNA. Then, you need to seize every single opportunity to push that message out. Your brand guidelines must be robust enough to handle everything from responsive design on a smartphone to a large format print ad. It's like designing a single logo that appears flawless across vastly different scales, from a minuscule favicon to a colossal billboard, is a challenging, yet essential task. You can find all the necessary files and exercises to practice with this video in the attached files.